Live from Brooklyn, New York, this is Stay Busy with Armon Sadler.
Well, you know that I'm the guy. I'm out here living life. I'm busy. Stay busy. Stay busy. Making moves and catching flights. So please don't waste my time. I'm busy. Stay busy, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, brought to you by the Revolt Podcast Network. And this is the podcast where we have responsible discussions on the entertainment business and the entertainment culture. I'm your host, head honcho, vegan chorizo papi, founder of B&B, the bald bombshell, Chinedu, one of two men sit in front of Taylor Rooks and not tell a lie, Armon Sadler, and I'm here with the gang. To my immediate left is the Panamanian princess, Miss Bring It to Your Front Door, Miss Rarely Seen, Always Noticed, Often Imitated, Never Duplicated, my mom's favorite part of the show, Miss 2Bs. What up, gang?
What's up? How you feeling?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
I love it. I love it. Good vibes on this Sunday. And let's bring more good vibes into the room. To my far left is Mr. Apple Music, Mr. Are You Sure, Mr. It Gets Biblical, everyone's favorite transplant, his shiny teeth and him, Drip Skylark. Will Foster's here. What up, brother?
What's good, y'all? What's good? Happy to be back. Happy to be back.
I love it. I love it. I went to bed at 10:30 last night.
Wow.
First time I've done that in a while.
Wow.
I feel rejuvenated,
Oh, yeah, I
refreshed,
bet. I
never
love that
felt
for
more
you.
alive.
I bet, yeah.
And it's good that, we're all feeling so good. We're all, in good spirits because we have potentially, probably, one of the most special guests that we've ever had on the show this week. Now, as 90s babies, who love hip hop, who love music, love the culture, we often have to talk to our OGs or use the internet to get a sense of what the space was like, but you really don't know until you really talk to someone. And we have someone here, we're blessed to have someone who was on the ground when the genre and community first took shape. And he's done it all in and out of hip hop, whether it's DJing, hosting parties, engineering television, creating record labels home to incredible talents and smash hits, working alongside legends such as L.A. Reid, Teddy Riley, and Dallas Austin, and helping initiate the music programming that is common today, such as Spotify, Pandora, and YouTube. Today, he's the CEO of the Hip Hop Museum, which will be opening very soon in the Bronx, New York, and is dedicated to the preservation, documentation, and celebration of hip hop's past, present, and future. Here to discuss what he and the museum have been up to lately and put us on game, the man of many titles, Mr. Cool DJ Rock, the incredible Rocky Bucano. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. How's everything?
Everything's good. I'm really excited about, the work that we're doing at the Hip Hop Museum and just getting excited for our future opening.
There we go. And we can't wait for the opening too. We're definitely going to make sure that we're in the building for it. So
I attended the groundbreaking.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I touched the shovel
yeah.
and LL Cool J was there. Nas was there.
That was a special day, because, in real estate development, a groundbreaking is normally like 12 people, and we had 500 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. Like LL Cool J had lines waiting to take pictures with him.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Well, let's get right into your journey with a segment called Rocky's Road. So we want to chronicle the different milestone moments that Rocky has encountered throughout his life, reveal some challenges associated with them, and what it took to overcome them. Are you prepared, brother?
Oh, yeah. Let's
go.
go.
Let's get right into it. So, getting your DJ career off the ground during hip-hop's early days in the 70s, what was that experience like? What were some challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I was fortunate because I was a protege of one of the top DJs here in New York City, my cousin, Pete DJ Jones. He was one of the top black mobile disc jockeys. So I was able to get a front seat at all the, black nightclubs that, he used to be the top DJ for here in New York City. And getting to see, what the black club experience back in the early 70s was like, and being a teenager growing up in that environment allowed me to really appreciate music at a different level, because I got to see what, older people were dancing to versus, people in my neighborhood, people my age. I was a 14-year-old, 15-year-old teenager in black nightclubs that, really catered to 21 and over.
Right.
So I wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but being able to have a front seat, watching one of the greats, rock the parties and and build sound systems. I got an early experience into what mobile DJing was all about. So that was great.
Awesome.
You know, the Black club scene, especially in New York, is like a constant topic online. I don't know if you see it, but like from the DJs, how well or poorly they play, to like the genre-centered parties, there's always something, or even the dress codes, the way people are treated, or like the lack thereof. But I'd love to learn about your transition from DRB Productions to hosting parties all over the city.
Yeah, so I'm wearing one of the shirts that we produced as DRB Productions. So DRB was my mother, myself, and my sister Bianca. And we used to give parties all over New York City, but mainly up in the Bronx. But every now and then we used to give parties in Manhattan. And, you know, Black promoters had to find what they would call restaurants, convertible restaurants. So we would go into these restaurants and rent them out and basically open them up at like 9 o'clock and keep them open until like 4 a.m. But they were restaurants, so they had tables and chairs, and we just had to move all the tables and chairs, and the DJs would come in and set up their equipment. And it was really interesting because, you know, that was our nightclubs. We didn't have like a Studio 54.
Right.
We had to go rent these, you know, basically these restaurants and convert them into nightclubs.
That's crazy.
So that was interesting. And then we had hotel ballrooms like the Hotel Diplomat, which was one of the big party spaces back in the 70s, where you would see Grandmaster Flowers or Pete DJ Jones or DJ Hollywood or Lovebug Starsky or Grandmaster Flowers. And those guys would really demonstrate different talents because each DJ had a different skill set. Grandmaster Flowers, in my opinion, he's from Brooklyn, and he was one of the best mixers. You couldn't tell when he changed the record. You know, so people really took great pride in their craft.
Right.
And the club scene was just different. People loved to dance back in the 70s.
I miss
Man.
dancing.
I miss it so bad. And it's funny that you mentioned converting the restaurants because that's a thing now. I thought it was like new or like a recession indicator, to be honest with you. But it's good to know that that's just a way that Black promoters like just found a way to still do their thing. So what does the D stand for? Just curious, because you said it's your mom.
Yeah,
and your sister.
my mother, Dorothy, God rest her soul. But she was the person that really financed my career in music.
I love that.
She was the one that put money into my dream, which was to become an actual DJ myself. She was the one that bought me my first sound system. So if it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing now.
I love that.
Aw, shout out to Dorothy.
Facts.
Yeah. So, you wanted to work in radio, but instead you started in television and moved to Texas?
Yeah. Funny story. So after my DJ career, I played basketball at the University of Buffalo.
Oh, tight.
I didn't like University of Buffalo. I only stayed there for half a semester.
It's cold up there.
Forget the cold. It snowed like crazy up there.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't take it. So I moved back to New York, went to City College. And I was at City College at the same time that Russell Simmons was there and Curtis Blow was there.
Wow.
And my friend Jerry Roebuck, who produced Black Expo, and he also had Jerry Productions. So it was a group of us that went to City College. And I wanted to, be on the radio because my idol was Frankie Crocker. And he later became a very good friend of mine. And I went to a broadcast school, which was a school on 42nd Street called Announcers Training Studios, ATS. And back then, in order to get into radio, you had to have a FCC first class license. So that school allowed me to get my FCC first class license, thinking that would propel me onto radio. No way, not in New York. So I sent out my resumes after I got my license, and nobody wanted to hire me. I even sent it to radio stations around the country, and nobody said, all right, come on. So I went back to the school and complained to the director, said, look, they said, come here, get your license, send out resumes, and you'll get a job. No job. And as I'm talking to the director of the school, the phone rings, and it's a chief engineer for a small television station in Beaumont, Texas, KBMT, which was an ABC affiliate. And I guess one of the students from one of the earlier classes had got a job at that station, and he was leaving. So he did, I guess, such a good job that they wanted to hire somebody else from the school. So as the director's talking to this person on the phone, he's looking at me across the desk and saying, I think I got the right guy for you to take this job. He hangs up the phone and he says, I got you a job. I said, it's not radio, it's television. I said, okay, television. And he said, it's in Beaumont, Texas. I'm like, where the hell is Beaumont, Texas?
Right? Never heard of it.
So I went home and told my mother that I got a job at a television station in Beaumont, Texas, and she flipped. She's like, Beaumont, Texas, where the hell is that? And she's like, no, you can't take that job. Call him back and say you can't take it. I was like, so my mother and I got into a little bit of a beef, and I gave her the silent treatment for about a week, and she said, you know what? If you want to go, but don't call me when you want to come back home. So that's how I got into television.
Wow. Well, I can only imagine how difficult the moving processes were back then compared to now. Like now you can look up listings on whatever type of website, and obviously just like technology, the advancement of that. So like when you moved, was it like, did you drive down there? Did you fly down there? Like how'd you get to
So I took 2 suitcases of clothes and I flew to Beaumont, Texas. I had to go to Houston, land in Houston and catch a small little plane that took me to Beaumont. And when I got off the plane, there was not even a terminal. They just pulled the thing up to the plane, and then you had to walk down. And as I'm walking down, this white guy with this cowboy hat is looking at me get off the plane, and he sees this 6'8" guy. Obviously, I'm not white, and he's like looking at me like, this must be my new employee. So he says, you must be Rocky Buchanan. I'm like, yep. He said, I'm John Long. I'm the chief engineer of the station. And he said, are you ready for Beaumont, Texas? I was like, I hope so.
Right.
Was that your like? I mean, I'm sure you'd like left New York before, but like, that was your first time living out of state, like for a long period of time.
Listen. Besides going to Buffalo, that was actually my first time living outside of the New York area, and I think I was 18 years old when I took the job.
Wow,
18, getting ready to turn 19.
Wow.
So it was a culture shock to me, man. And I didn't have a car. The station was next to this interstate highway, Interstate 10. And my first apartment was on the opposite side of the highway. And I was the sign-on engineer. So back then, stations didn't even broadcast 24 hours a day. They would sign off like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then whoever the sign-on engineer would come in and turn the station on. And they would play the national anthem to basically say, all right, the station's coming on air. So you play the national anthem, and then you had your programming in the morning. And I was the guy that had to turn the station on. So I would have to get there like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I wake up like 4:30, whatever. And because it was on the opposite side of the interstate highway, I had a choice. Either walk underneath the interstate, and there was like a cargo train always parked underneath this interstate because the ramp went over like this. Or I had the choice of walking on the interstate and over and then run across the highway to the station. Early in the morning, no lights.
My goodness.
That sounds crazy.
So that was my challenge as a person trying to break into television. It was just crazy. But I stayed there for 8 months, and then I left KBMT and got a really big job in Houston, working at Houston, which was more my cup of tea because Beaumont, I call it the armpit of the nation because it's where all the petrochemicals are. But Houston was more metropolis, more cosmopolitan, had transportation, buses and stuff that you can take back and forth. So it was a bigger city, so I enjoyed Houston a little bit more than Beaumont.
I can imagine. And then you eventually returned to New York and you formed Strong City Records. So what was the motivation to form that label, and what was just that process like?
Well, before I got Strong City off the ground, I came back to New York trying to get a job in the record business because I had met some people that worked at Sony Music while I was in Houston. I started back DJing while I was in Houston. And when I came back to New York, a lot of my friends, Grandmaster Flash, Curtis Blow, all these guys had already recorded records. So I'm trying to get in the record industry, and I'm like, I can't even find a job. So I went back peddling my resume around, and I got a job at Channel 9, WWOR TV. And I became the technical director for the New York Mets. and I was the technical director for the Mets when they won the World Series in 1986.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
No way.
Yep. So
No way.
I met a young guy by the name of Teddy Riley
Mhm.
while I was working at Channel 9, and my friend Milton LaCroix, who was a club promoter and a very dear friend of mine. He's now one of the top boxing managers. And Milton came to me one day to the station and said, "Man, I just left the Apollo Theater, and there's this little kid playing the piano, and he is nice. You got to check this kid out." I'm like, "Well, where does he live at?" "Oh, he lives in Harlem, and we're going to go check him out this weekend. We're going to go to his house." So he picks me up. We go to Teddy's house, and he's living in the projects. And we walk in, and he introduces Teddy to me and says, "This is my partner, Rocky. I just want him to hear how you play the piano." So we go into the living room, and he's got this little Casio keyboard, and he starts playing the Casio. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this kid is like crazy with the piano." So I said to Milton, I said, "What are we going to do?" "Oh, we're going to put him in the studio." "Put him in the studio to do what?" "To make a record." I'm like, "But record for who?" So he says, "I got this group up in New Rochelle called Masters of Ceremony. It's a friend of a friend, and I heard their demo tape. We're going to go up and check out their demo to see if you like what they can do." So we drive up to New Rochelle a couple days later, and I'm in the bedroom of their manager. His name is Bill Brickle, and he's playing this demo of a track from Masters of Ceremony, which was Grand Puba. And I was like, "Oh my God, these kids are nice." So I said, "What are we going to do?" He said, "Oh, let's put them in the studio. Let's get Teddy to record a song for them, and let's put it out." So that's what we did. We put Teddy in the studio, Unique Recording Studios in Manhattan. We brought the Masters of Ceremonies down there, and on the spot, they created this record called Crime. And it was on MLO Records. If you want to look it up, MLO Records, Crime, Masters of Ceremony. It's Teddy Riley's first recorded record.
Wow.
Nice.
Incredible.
And that was the thing that led to the birth of Strong City Records, because I went around promoting that record to all the nightclubs. And I went to Danceteria and met Jazzy J, who was DJing at Danceteria. And he came out to the nightclub. I said, "Yo, Jay, I want to give you this record. It's by Masters of Ceremony." He said, "Oh, shoot, this is Crime? I've been looking for this record." I said, "Really?" He said, "Man, it's one of my favorite records." I said, "Well, guess what? I got the group. What do you want to do with the group?" He says, "Well, you know what? I have my studio up in the Bronx. I like to bring the group. I would like for you to bring the group, and I see if I could work with the group." And I said, "You want to work with Masters of Ceremony?" He said, "Yeah, man. Let's see what we can do." And after maybe about a couple months with back and forth, we're in the studio, and Jazzy tells me about his journey with Def Jam and how he feels like he got left out of, the actual formation of Def Jam, because him and Rick Rubin had worked together first. They produced the song "It's Yours" with Tila Rock and Jazzy J. And that was the first Def Jam record. It was on Rick Rubin's label, which then Rick and Russell teamed up, and they formed Def Jam and kind of like left Jazzy to the side. So he had like a little bitter taste in his mouth. And I said, "Look, turn that anger and whatever into your own passion, and you and I can build a record company together." And that's how we started Strong City Records.
Wow. And I can only imagine the transition to Roddy Records was also as seamless because of all the work that you did at Strong City Records already. But can you describe that time?
So I sold Strong City Records and gave Jazzy the company. I sold my interest in Strong City Records and gave Jazzy the company. And then I started an independent marketing company called Third Rail, which did a lot of street marketing for different rap labels that were trying to get their groups exposed. And I got a call from a very close friend of mine, Glenn Freeman, who's a photographer. Glenn is known for shooting the Beastie Boys covers, shooting LL Cool J. He shot Public Enemy. He shot the Run DMC covers.
Wow.
So Glenn Freeman is one of the top photographers and a very close friend of mine. And he's a close friend of Russell's. And he said, "Rocky, Russell just called me and said that tell Rocky to expect a phone call from L.A. Reid's office. They're getting ready to start a rap label, and they need a guy that understands rap and how to market it, blah, blah, blah. And, just expect a phone call. So I said, I paid it really no mind. And I did get a phone call later that day from Charlotte Asbury, who was working with L.A. Reid at LaFace Records. And she called and says, L.A. Says that that he would like to meet with you because Russell says you're the guy when it comes to, what's happening with rap. And we got this thing that we're trying to do with Dallas Austin. It's a new label called Rowdy Records. And we're looking to get somebody that can really launch this label for us. So they flew me out to Los Angeles to meet. And LA and Babyface were in the studio and they were finishing songs for the Boomerang soundtrack. And,
Wow.
they had
Soundtracks for
Boys to
soundtracks.
Men on there. They had Tony Braxton.
All-time soundtrack.
That album was packed with hit records. And I got a chance to sit down and talk to those guys. They wanted to get to know me a little bit. And then I guess the meeting went well because they asked me to come fly to Atlanta a couple days later to meet Dallas. So I'm in Atlanta. I'm in L.A. Reid's house in his basement. And I'm sitting there just looking at the walls and all the awards he's got all over the place. And there's a guy sitting on the other side of the room, and I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, I'm waiting for Dallas to come, not realizing that Dallas was the guy across the room because he didn't say anything.
Right.
So LA comes downstairs and says, all right, we're ready to go to lunch. And he says, Rocky, meet Dallas. Dallas, meet Rocky. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the guy. Okay, so now we're having lunch, and it's like we're getting to know each other. And a couple weeks later, they called and told me that they were going to hire me to be the executive vice president and general manager of the company.
Wow.
Nice.
That's crazy. So, leaving Rowdy Records, you went to work with Teddy Riley at New Jack Swing.
Yep.
How was that? Like,
that was like a full circle moment because now
like
Teddy's like the king.
Yeah.
exactly.
And I remember him when he was just starting.
The
So it
first
was like a
record.
360 moment for me, you
That's
know?
crazy.
And I was coming at a different time for Teddy because he had all different types of managers that helped him get to where he was. But for some reason, he was getting taken advantage of. Let's just say that. So, he basically trusted me because he knew me from, my, all the things that I've done. And he asked me to come help, basically build his company so that he can, start a new, another company because he had New Jack Swing Productions. He had Guy, which was on MCA, and he was now recording Blackstreet, the first Blackstreet with Dave Hollister. And his company was a little bit in disarray kind of thing. So I came in to just help organize it. I brought in a new business affairs team. I worked with his accountants and just try to give it a little bit more organization. We also tried to help him with some negotiations between Interscope and MCA to get his new project on the right path. And long story short, I spent a little bit of time working with Interscope, making sure that Blackstreet's first project was a success. And meanwhile, Teddy's producing everybody. He had just finished, about a year before that, recording the Dangerous album for Michael.
Wow.
And so he was coming off a fantastic high.
Yeah.
But then he was in the studio in New York. Michael had asked him to come back to work on the History album. And that didn't go so well because the songs that Teddy wanted to put on History, Michael wanted to go in a different direction. He wanted a little bit, change from what Teddy was used to doing. And Teddy was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put no songs on this album. And I was like, you're not going to put another song on Michael's History album? And I was like, that's kind of nuts. Mm-hmm. But he was so adamant. It's like he didn't want to do it. So I was like, whatever. Mm-hmm. So, Teddy and I are still good friends to this day. He's undisputedly one of the most prolific songwriters and producers of our time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Undoubtedly. I love what we've heard about your career so far because you've experienced so many different aspects of music, the DJing, the hosting events, the street team marketing, and it's also full circle moments. You went from music to TV, back to music, and then you transitioned to Cablevision and helped to launch the Total Music Network, which is a precursor to everything we're experiencing today. So, what was that experience like going back into TV and kind of helping to foster something that would change generations?
Yeah, so working at Cablevision was a truly unique experience because they were moving into the digital set-top box era, and they were trying to figure out ways to build content that becomes part of what they call internet television, the future of television, which we all have today.
Right.
But I was in it before we got to where we are today. So Total Music Network was a high-speed music DSP for their high-speed cable customers, Optimum cable customers. But it was only, accessible to a small audience, to
Right.
people who had Cablevision.
Right.
But we were doing some terrific things. We were doing live shows from different clubs around New York City and streaming it to different cable subscribers. And I was pitching different ideas of doing on-demand music playlists to the record companies.
How ironic.
And they weren't into it. They were like, no, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. And now here we are, Spotify and everybody doing, streaming playlists. So, it was interesting because I got a chance to see what the different sides of cable distribution could do.
Right.
From television's point of view, broadband technology. And I think that, all these different experiences kind of like makes me a unique individual because it gives me all the tools that I need to really do what I'm doing now with the hip hop museum, because we're trying to build not just a regular museum, we're trying to build something that has a lot of technology, something that's immersive, something that is entertaining. So I kind of like bring all these different skill sets, and I'm bringing different people as part of my team to really help manifest the vision that we have for this museum.
Yeah, learning about your journey, it definitely all makes sense, especially because you were there during a lot of the beginning of it. But can you describe what it was like when the Hip Hop Museum went from idea to an actual real thing?
Yeah, so I had got out of the music business and I wasn't really trying to do anything in music. I was running a youth basketball program up in the South Bronx called the New York Gauchos. And I had taken over that program in 2000 actually. And I stayed there until 2013. But the idea for the museum began in 2010 as part of a real estate opportunity. Some developers came to the Gauchos gym. They wanted to partner with us to be part of their RFP to develop the Kingsbridge Armory up on the west side of the Bronx. But their idea was to turn the Kingsbridge Armory into like a sports and entertainment venue. But they didn't have the financing to actually move forward with their project. So the city of New York disqualified them from the process. But the city of New York was really excited that the Gauchos wanted to expand. So the local council member whose district includes the Kingsbridge Armory, his name is Fernando Cabrera, reached out to me and said, look, we're really excited that the Gauchos want more space. And I think I could partner you with another real estate developer to continue the process to see if you guys can actually acquire the Kingsbridge Armory. And that developer was a Korean developer named Young Woo. So they partnered me with Young Woo. And Young Woo is a dynamic real estate developer. He develops like luxury condominiums and stuff here in New York City. But his vision for the Kingsbridge Armory was to make it an open market with shipping containers for entrepreneurs to start small businesses. And he would have a sports program with the Gauchos and other sports programs. And then about 4 months or 3 months into the process, he and I had a meeting and he said, look, man, I really am struggling to convince the community that this is something they should get behind. But if you can come up with something that is more entertaining to include in my project, maybe I will, see if it fits. And I told him, I said, if you got the money, you should consider putting a hip hop museum in your project.
Mm.
And that was the thing that led to the start of the hip hop museum, because he was so fascinated. He was like, a hip hop museum sounds great, but how are you going to get the people together? Who, you're a basketball guy. What do you know about hip hop? Then I had to tell
If
my
only you knew.
I had to tell my background. So that was the thing that really helped push his project closer to the finish line. But unfortunately, Mayor Bloomberg, who was the mayor at that time, and some of the local politicians thought that it would be better served to put an ice skating rink in the Kingsbridge Armory. So Mark Messier and Sarah Hughes had a project to convert the Armory into an ice skating palace, and that's who prevailed.
Wow.
But it was from that failure that led to me saying, wow, this museum thing is real. This thing could be big.
Mm-hmm.
So I just continued to try to develop it with whatever resources I had. And the first thing that we actually did, we started as a virtual museum. Nobody knows that. So Curtis Blow became the first chairman of the museum, and he and I worked together with a couple other people to really try to build out what a virtual museum would look like. And that's when my friend Ed Young, who used to be one of the owners of the Source magazine, one of the first owners of the Source magazine, he told me about a concept that Google had launched called Google Cardboard. And Google Cardboard was a pizza box that was actually the first virtual reality glasses. And you could put your phone inside this box, fold it up, and look at video content, and it would be 360 inside this pizza box. So I said, oh, shoot, we could actually create a 360 experience using 360 content and put it in this box, and anybody who has a phone can come and step inside the museum. So me, Ed Young, and Curtis went to pitch Google on producing content. And all they said was, we don't produce content. We give you the boxes for free, but you got to find a company to go produce the content for you. So they gave us a list of companies that produce 360 content. They were all in California. Only one was here in New York. I called everyone in California. They were all excited. I called the one in New York. The guy flipped out. He said, when can we meet? So me, Curtis, and Ed went down to this company in Soho called Frame Store. And when we told them what we wanted to do, they funded the entire project. They spent over $150,000.
Wow. Amen.
And it's on YouTube today. It's called the Curtis Blow 360 Experience. And what it is, Curtis is inside Ralston Recording Studios, which is where he recorded the Fat Boys. He recorded some stuff for Dougie Fresh. He recorded, and a lot of other artists recorded at Ralston in Brooklyn. And it's a 360 experience of Curtis sitting at the board, the original board where he recorded these hits at, talking about the process of recording in the studio. And that was the first thing that the museum produced. And that was our virtual opening.
Wow, that is crazy.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, like that's real lore. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, when COVID hit, what type of delays did you guys go through, or out of the circumstances? I know it was probably difficult and frustrating.
Truthfully speaking, it wasn't so much that COVID delayed the museum. It slowed down the process of the real estate developers that built the affordable housing on top of us.
Okay.
And because we couldn't start our part of the construction for the inside of the museum until the apartments were finished, that pushed us back. Interesting. It was interesting because as they were building the Bronx Point with the affordable housing and building the base for the museum, we had another partner at the Bronx Terminal Market, which is right across the street. It's a big mall that sits right across the street from the museum. And the owners of that mall, which is the related companies, became fans of the museum's project. So they reached out to us and gave us free space inside the mall. And we actually still have free space there now. We have a space called the Culture Lab. But before the Culture Lab, we opened up a temporary exhibit called the Revolution of Hip Hop in 2019, which was right across the street inside the mall, a 3,000 square foot space. And we turned that into like a pop-up exhibit. So it started in 2019, and it was about the origin story of hip hop. And we had artifacts and beautiful pictures, photographs. But then we had to close in March of 2020 because of the pandemic. So then we closed and we said, look, when we reopen, let's reopen with something different. So we reopened in November of 2020, and that was more about the commercialization of hip hop. And that only stayed open for a couple months because we thought we could stay open in November, but the pandemic had another resurgence. And we closed, and then we reopened back in April. And then when we reopened in April of 2021, it was more about the golden era of hip hop. And that stayed open from 2021 to 2023. And between those two and a half years, we welcomed 60,000 people just to this 3,000 square foot space.
Wow.
I love that.
You mentioned how Mayor Bloomberg, like how he like kind of trampled on the plans before. And I know that this current administration is very supportive of the arts and entertainment, and you're a part of the transition committee. So like, what does that mean exactly for the regular folks, and how does that benefit the museum?
So the transition committee just is designed to provide advice about arts and culture and create policies that incorporate the mayor's vision for affordability here in New York City. So affordability can mean a lot of different things, but from an arts and culture point of view, it's really like the creative community. How to make New York City more affordable for the creative community. Struggling artists who can't afford to even, buy groceries or pay their rent. How do we make it more affordable for that part of the community here in New York City? So we came up with different ideas and different concepts on how to take vacant spaces and make them free to content producers and artists, us to basically help monetize their career and help them create a more sustainable path for living a creative life here in New York City, because arts and culture is such a big part of the New York City economy that we wanted to make sure that the money that we're generating for New York City stays in the arts and culture community.
Absolutely.
So that's the advice that we were given to the new mayor and his administration. And now we're just waiting for some of these policies to actually take effect. There's a new there's a new commission of cultural arts. She just stepped into her role, I think, last week. So it's going to take time for some of these things to actually transpire. But what I like about the new mayor is that he is all about the people. He wants to really make life better for everybody, and he's not afraid to take risks. So it seems like he's off to a good start.
Yeah.
It's a great question, Eb. Lastly, with the Hip Hop Museum, I know you all have done a lot of programming. We talked before about how excited you are for it to open. You're just ready for it to happen. But you've been programming galas, Black History Month initiative. So talk about some of the things that you've been doing recently leading up to the inevitable opening of the museum.
So our new space, the Culture Lab, it's an event space, it's a gift shop, and it's a content capture studio. We've been producing all different types of programming inside that space. We have a summer program that we produce every year called My Camera is My Weapon, which is a summer program. It runs only for 6 weeks. We mentor high school students during the summer, and we mentor them in filmmaking and photojournalism.
Wow, that's amazing.
I love that.
The original name for the program was Shoot Cameras, Not Guns. Because it was designed to basically take kids off the street that can be easily influenced by gang culture and give them a safe space to explore their own creativity. So we changed the name to My Camera's My Weapon. We partner with local high schools, and the kids go in there. We bring in celebrity photographers and filmmakers. They mentor them for 6 weeks. We go out there and we take the cameras and we shoot small documentaries and films. They shoot beautiful photography, and at the end of that program, we do an exhibition of their work.
Wow.
And it's been an amazing success. Last year was our second year. This is going to be our third year doing it. And now we have our culture lab, and we have a new talent showcase called Show Us What You Got. We just had the third one yesterday. It was amazing. So we're giving a safe space for young, talented artists to come in and showcase their poetry skills, their singing skills, their dance skills. They come in there, and we bring in our team to basically be celebrity judges and really, provide positive criticism that can help guide and push them in the right direction. So that's a new program that we have. And then every Thursday, we have a different DJ come in. Now it's Women's History Month, so we're bringing in female DJs to showcase their talents. It's from 5 to 7. And then April, we go back to our old school nights where it's called I Love the 70s. It's a throwback to the 70s.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love the emphasis on the youth, because I know an ongoing conversation for years has been like, kids aren't being taught music in schools anymore. Like the arts and entertainment programs have been reduced to almost gotten rid of. So it's good to see there are summer programs like that as well. And yeah, because I talk about it all the time. Like when they would have career fairs at school. Like journalists wouldn't come in, or like photographers. And so that's something I kind of had to find on my own. So it's really cool to expose them to that at the formative years where they're trying to figure out, what do I want to be when I grow up? So that's really cool. I love that. So it's great to learn your story, and I hope listeners that you gain something from that. We're definitely gonna hopefully learn more about you, but we got to get into some things that have happened in the music and entertainment space this week in our What's Buzzin' segment. Miss 2B's.
Yes.
Big Mama is coming. What's up? What's happening with Latto?
Big Mama has a new definition now. Big Mama. Do you like Latto, Rocky?
Yeah. We actually have some artifacts from Latto in our museum.
Yeah,
Really?
what do you have?
Oh, it's some of her beautiful clothing.
Wow.
And there's a long story behind that. We won't get into that, but we have some of her clothing, some of her beautiful outfits are in our possession.
I love that, because her shoes were a hot topic because they had like the 21 Savage knife on the back. The cover, her holding the baby cub or the baby cheetah, because that's the brand. The baby cheetah, the stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like a whole thing.
Okay.
I see the discourse.
Yeah.
But I try not to get too warped into the people's personal lives,
Right.
because it's just like, all right, I've been waiting for some new Latto music. I like the intro track. What did you guys think about it?
Really great record. Yeah. I mean, Latto can rap. She's always been a really good rapper. Like, to me, among the best in terms of the women. So yeah, I thought she went crazy. The whole beat switch part of the song, like starts off slow and then gets faster.
Listen, the allegations
are
allegationing.
And then she addressed them head on. She said, people think Crody wrote my raps as a compliment. So it's cool that she's aware and
she broke the fourth wall,
leaning into it. But
the Drake fourth wall.
Right.
No, I liked it a lot. I also just like, she's been moving, really well for this past couple of years. She's almost like the first lady of Atlanta,
Yes.
and it's very.
She is,
and
not
then,
almost.
like she is. Like, what am I saying? She is, and then 21. Like, that's a nice couple. Congrats to them having a baby. Like, I like the announcement, and cheetah's my favorite animal. So I was like, when I saw the cheetah, I was locked in. I was like, what's going on? She doing some stuff with Animal Planet? Like, is this? But no, yeah. So
it's also
cool.
interesting to see how female rappers are approaching maternity now. Like, especially after Cardi B has been very open about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was once upon a time it had to be your life or your career as a woman, and now the girls are showing that you can have it all. So. Shout outs to Latto. The rumors were definitely true. I saw the picture of her belly a few weeks ago, but in this AI era, you never know what's real. So I'm happy that it came out. And other headlines also included another VERZUZ battle. Now, I just have to go on record saying, because we were talking about Teddy Riley earlier, I really appreciate Teddy Riley's efforts during the early VERZUZ. Because it's like he was getting clowned for it, but now what he did is the standard.
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate him.
High quality.
Very high quality. And I just learned that he's Panamanian too. So.
Oh, wow.
People be Panamanian.
Yo, people be Panamanian.
People be Panamanian.
Rocky, you Panamanian too?
I'm Panamanian.
People be Panamanian.
Have you been there?
Yes, I have.
Miss Dorothy is the Panamanian?
No,
or
my
dad?
father. My
Okay.
father's from Panama. My mother is from St. Kitts.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Caribbean poppy. Have you been?
I've never been to St. Kitts, but I plan to go.
What about Panama?
I've been to Panama.
Okay,
love that.
period. My mom's from the city, but her older siblings are from Colón, so
That's where my father's from, Cologne.
Yeah, most of us black folks are. My grandma was a bit more well off when my mom was born, so she was in the city doing her thing out there. But this versus battle includes Tyrese and Tank. I love Tyrese's music career. Like, I am very, very excited. I wish I was in LA for this one.
Yeah, this is definitely for the grown and sexy.
Yeah, this is this is actually a pretty good one, I think.
Yeah.
And they had a group once upon a time.
Yeah.
TGT.
Yeah.
So we probably see Genuine pop out real quick.
It only makes sense.
You know?
Yo.
Who do you guys think will win?
Rocky, let's start with you. Tyrese and Tank.
Who you got?
I like both, but I am very, in terms of just singing, vocal talent, Tyrese is the one.
Tank can sing really well, though.
He can. But Tyrese is another level.
Another level.
There are levels to this.
What about you, Will?
That's so crazy. I thought you were I thought you were gonna say Tank when the way you described it.
Right, the way you said it.
Because he can sing really well. Yeah. But Tyrese is on a different level, and I think personally, I just like Tyrese more. I think I have a more connection to him. But I think he's gonna win. I think he can win.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
It's tough though.
Tank is popular, but he's still a kind of if you know, you know. Facts. He's done so much. I think
That's
people
so crazy, right?
aren't familiar with. Tyrese is, I think he's a more prominent type guy. He's had the viral moments and all that. But
Bye, Shayla.
What more do you want from me? but I think he's got the bigger hits. So but as we see, it's also a performance aspect. It's how much of a showman you are. How entertaining can you be? So
and they're both that.
Yeah. Tank is gonna get on that piano and go crazy, but Tyrese probably gonna tear his shirt off on stage and all that. So,
and even thinking about the hits, I do think Tyrese probably has more widely
for sure
known or received.
Sweet Lady.
For sure.
When he sings Sweet Lady,
I'm gonna.
Why you want it?
Jonte Austin wrote that, and he was just 14 years old when he wrote that song.
I love how we always talk about that.
Yeah, all the time for no reason.
It was so amazing.
It was needed for people to see how influential Jonte was in the space. Because again, people don't look up writers and credits and all that.
For sure, they don't.
It's a tough one. I'm gonna lean Tyrese as well, but.
Damn,
It would not shock me if Tank surprised people, because I think, you go back to, I don't know how you felt leading into the Omarion Mario one, but a lot of people picked Omarion, and then Mario showed out. I
didn't.
So it's you really never know with these things.
And Tank tried to help Omarion too.
Yeah.
He came out and tried to sing, but I knew Mario, he's a singer, not a singer.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And I think it's cool. This one I'm actually looking forward to. I feel like VERZUZ, ever since the pandemic, 2020, 2021 was the peak. Then they took it to MSG and did of course the Locks Dipset one was huge.
Oh yeah, I was there.
But then
you was there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how was that?
Crazy. The energy on video was the same energy that you had there. I was at the Ja Rule and Fat Joe one too, when Fat Joe called them crackheads.
Wow.
I gotta talk to you.
I was like, wait, what's happening?
That's crazy, yo.
Yeah, I was at the Soulja Boy and Bow Wow one too in LA.
Okay. Wow. I was up.
Yeah, but I feel like that one, because the Soulja Boy Bow Wow one was 2021. Omarion Mario was 2022. That's the last one that we really referred to.
About.
And then obviously they had the legal issue, so it kind of went away. And I think everyone's kind of cool just moving on. They've done some recently, the Cash Money, No Limit one at Complex Con, but I don't know. VERZUZ, it's kind of, I'm kind of okay without it, but this one I'm interested in, so I'm actually really gonna tap in and see. For you guys, do you think VERZUZ is still a viable thing in this era? Are there matchups that you want to see?
Yeah.
I mean, there'll always be matchups I would want to see, but I think what you're saying, I think it has kind of ran its course as just, I think it's just ran its course. It's not the most sought after or most popular thing anymore. People used to really be tuned into a VERZUZ.
Yeah.
And we were just coming off the pandemic, so a lot of people were at home.
We had nothing else to do, bro.
So now I think it's it's still cool, but I think it's ran its course on that level of previous.
Rocky, which verses what was your favorite of all of them?
I really don't have a favorite, but I'll give it to Timbaland and Swiss.
The originators.
The very first one, right?
Yeah.
That one. Neo, Jonte Austin was great. Boy Wonder, Hit Boy was great. Of course, the one that was in Jamaica. Who was that?
Beanie Man,
yes.
and I forgot who he was going against. I feel so bad forgetting that. But
yeah,
I think we just haven't had a match that we cared about in a while.
Yeah.
But I do love that we have something that gives us that center around the TV feeling that we used to have. Like, there's not something that we're all collectively tuned into anymore. So
let's see a Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B one.
Oof.
Are they ready for that?
It's definitely early. I think if in 5-10 years
down the road.
But that's definitely a good matchup.
Yeah. But Kim did call out her arch nemesis a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, by name.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy. But I don't know. The likelihood of that is like, and I heard that the reason why that didn't happen was because Kim asked for like a crazy amount of money, but like both parties agreed to do it. But versus, I love a good versus. There's always topics about like hypothetical matches.
Yep.
We always get like the Jay-Z, the Ushers, the Chris Browns, the people who we know are never gonna do verses. But Jay-Z will be outside this summer.
Mm-hmm.
He is headlining the Roots Picnic with the Roots. And he will be at the Yankee Stadium 2 days in a row. There will be Air Max 95s all over the place, okay? I cannot wait to go. I plan to be up in there looking like Angela Simmons with the Yankee bro. What about y'all?
I saw you
y'all
post
in
that
there?
picture on your story.
Y'all in there?
I want to go.
Rocky,
bad.
you in there?
I want to go.
It's in the
bad.
Bronx.
We're definitely trying to be in the house.
Right? The Hip Hop
Definitely
Museum needs an
trying to.
activation up in there. Like,
Y'all should be
we actually
front
need
row.
Jay to come see the museum.
low key.
Take a couple minutes and come visit us.
Talk about it.
Feel me? But which show would you guys like to see the most? Reasonable Doubt or the Blueprint show? If you had to pick only one show.
Reasonable Doubt for me.
Reasonable Doubt for you?
Blueprint.
Yeah.
Same.
Me too.
Same.
Me too, for sure.
Yeah.
But that Roots lineup is also really
Bro,
good.
I was about to say
the
that.
full thing, Kaylani on there, K1 on there. They're doing a Waiting to Exhale soundtrack showcase.
That lineup
it's
is
real
nuts.
good. I haven't been to a festival, well, not since like October. I don't really do festivals as much anymore.
I'm about to say that's not my thing no more.
Long day, tiring. But Roots, I went in 2019, and it was really enjoyable. Like, that's the lineups they put together, the bridging of current acts and like elder statesmen. Like, Roots always does a really good job, so I'd actually pop out for that if the opportunity avails itself.
Do you guys think he's announcing any more shows, or like, do you think he's going to perform at maybe MSG or the Barclays or anything, or you think this is pretty much going to be the last of the 30th anniversary?
I think he's only going to do the Yankee stadiums. Those are
Yeah,
two big dates back to back.
For sure.
And then the Roots Picnic a few months before that. I think that is sufficient.
Yeah.
And then probably pepper in some like Tidal, Rock Nation stuff.
Yeah, he seems like he's in that phase where it's like less is more at this point. Like, do a couple appearances, make people go crazy for them, sell out, but not do too much. Like, he's not trying to do too much. I did see, obviously these shows are sparking discussions about if he has an album coming.
That too.
That's something a lot of people think. I did see rumors that he might do something in LA. I'm not sure, but
I heard about the Barclays, so I was just
really?
like, yeah.
Okay.
I saw that.
Saw
Saw chatter about that, but I wasn't sure if it was.
It's an interesting time. Obviously, it's great that two of his big album anniversaries line up this year. I'd have to check and see if he has any other anniversaries coming up anytime soon. But next year will be 10 years of 444, so maybe he'll do something for that.
He might.
Yeah.
He might. Someone said, imagine Beyonce's Act 3 just being On the Run Part 3. And I said, you know what? I won't be mad at that. I love the Carter album.
That would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, there were a lot of tweets about people buying the Yankee Stadium tickets just because they expect Beyonce to be there. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm not mad at
we'll see.
That's a
She's
good.
gonna be there.
That's a good.
She'll be there. Performing. It's up in the air.
Yeah,
it's up in
yeah.
the air, but it should definitely be there. But hey, man, it's an interesting time. Jay-Z fans are very excited. Happy for them.
Good for them.
Someone commented on my story and was like, not after he was mentioning them files.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And she is under the age of 25, though. So I was just like, ma'am, They're
Please.
saying he was mentioned in the files in 1996
Mhm.
when Reasonable Doubt dropped.
Mhm.
Not sure if he met the criteria to even get invited at that time. However, I want to respect how you feel. Go off.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see, but people are excited. I'm seeing all the tweets about Ticketmaster's going to be the Hunger Games tomorrow. when the
God.
tickets
I'm about
drop,
to just
so.
get me a job at the stadium. It's all right. Don't worry about it. You see me doing
I got
security?
the
It's
plug for you.
AI.
Well, one of my homegirls work for the Yankees, so
Oh,
I
say
got you.
that.
I got you. I'll
Bet.
see what I can do. Well, yeah, that is our What's Buzzing topic. So let us know you guys' excitement levels for Latto. Let us know who you think is going to win the verses between Tyrese and Tank. And let us know how you feel about these Jay-Z shows, which one you're going to hit up. If you had to pick between Reasonable Doubt and Blueprint, which album do you like more? Let's jump into this lunch break real quick. So I was having a conversation with my friends recently. And we were talking about like restaurants, diners, and they were talking about certain ones that they feel like they're too good for. Now me, fortunate to the job that I had, I was making pretty nice money, and I was able to experience nicer things, finer things, but it's certain things that I would just never turn my back on, never be too good for. And so I wanted to bring that to y'all. Like no matter what amount of money you make, where you're living, how fancy your clothes are, all that, what's something that I guess could be considered beneath you that you would just never be too good for?
Ooh, Rocky, I don't know if you know about this combo right here. It's like real Panamanian type. But I love a white rice with eggs.
Oh, yes. Yes.
White rice with eggs. Don't matter how much money is in my account.
Mhm.
That will always be my go-to.
It's quick. It's good. You can spice it up, make it real fancy.
Yeah.
It hits. It hits.
You ever had it?
No.
No?
Really?
What's your meal that you're not too good for ever?
So, my father, talking about a person from Panama, he was the chef of the house,
Mhm.
and he was actually a merchant seaman. So he was the chef on the boats.
Wow.
Whenever he went out to sea. So his thing was making basically a combination of ground beef with potatoes, eggs, and mix it all together with onions and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And that would be like a breakfast for us.
Mm.
And whatever he called it, that's what it was. And now my wife kind of tries to make it. She does a good job trying to do that. But yeah, anything that we can throw together with ground beef, potatoes, onions, and eggs, that works for us.
Sound good to me.
Right? I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, actually, I was like,
I might write that one
Yeah,
down.
it's like, hold on now. How about you, Will?
You know what? I just got back from Georgia, Savannah, and there was and a lot of people probably always go to this, but there was a Waffle House. And if you ever had Waffle House?
Yeah.
See, everybody.
Important.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you see and you're just like, I will never not go. Like I already knew the All-Star, and then it's like it's always funny. Like I was in the car like with my parents, and you guys heard, and then I was like, I want to go to Waffle House, and my mom's always like, "Are you still like what? Like yes, that's never not gonna not be a thing. Like
give me them scattered, smothered hash browns. Like give me that
24 hours
chocolate
too,
chip
so
waffle.
It's just like,
It looks like it's not
clutch.
passing the health inspection,
Yes.
but still, run that.
It's like just because you can afford, more expensive food, nicer food, it don't mean you got to spend the money on it. Like you trying to save your money up. And so for me, 7-Eleven snacks, taquitos, the wings, all that. If there's a 7-Eleven like 2 blocks from my crib. So if I'm walking back from the barbershop or running the errand, might stop in and grab some taquitos.
Yeah.
Real quick.
If I'm out late from a drunk night, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling, feeling the vibes.
Our go-to spot back in the day, and sometimes even today, is still White Castles.
Yeah. Hey, man, come on.
It'd be like that.
White Castles,
Come on,
yeah, that's a good
like,
one. That's a good one. People,
like nostalgia and all that, like all that plays into it. Hey man, I love me a nice fancy meal. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but if money might be tight at a certain time, waiting for my check to hit, or if I just don't want to cook or don't want to spend too much, I'm gonna go get me some taquitos. I'm gonna go to White Castle. I'm gonna go. It's no shame in that. Sustenance is sustenance.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let nobody shame me out of eating something that I like. Like,
no shade.
That's a fact.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to see, like, even though we're all doing well in life, like we're not too too above
I would never
all
be.
that. Like
Never.
remember your roots.
Never.
Remember your roots.
Never.
Let's jump into our main event segment of the day. We've been doing these responsible revisits. January, we did Anti. February, we did Kanye West Life of Pablo. Earlier this month, we did Cardi B, Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1. And this week, we're going back to 1999 for TLC's Fanmail. Will, you were talking about this album, and you kind of inspired us to do this. So what was it about Fanmail that just had you like, yo, like, we got to revisit this?
You know what's crazy? Reviewing it again for this, I just reminded myself the memory I had of it. It was the first time I remember riding the bus home and, No Scrubs comes on and, my crush is sitting right like on the seat over and just hearing that on the radio driving home, like, and it was like it was late in the year, so it was like warm and just the blissness of hearing No Scrubs and hearing TLC, and now as a young child and like having like a core memory with that, and now today and going through that album and like having a whole different meaning to me is special because especially the first track. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like if I even knew back then, to sit down and listen to it as a kid would have been, I probably would have been still tripping, but. Yeah, bro. It's one of my most closest memory to music and being just enthralled and wanting to do this type of stuff.
Yeah, it's special when music can take you back to such a specific
Yeah,
moment.
Right,
no, I
very
really
specific.
remember.
I'm like,
I
damn,
really
that crush
remember,
must
bro.
have been real pretty.
She was. She was.
Rocky, well, what's your memories of when TLC Fanmail came out?
So I was there when the first album came out, and so I seen the whole development of TLC from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time Fanmail came out, they were superstars.
Yeah.
So I just remember, like you said, No Scrubs and some of the other songs on there, but they showed how they had matured over the prior two albums before that, and how their production kind of like really started to grow. Obviously this was the last album before Left Eye's passing.
Right.
But this really demonstrated that they, really were at a point where I think they had reached the plateau. And it was good to see those girls going from where they started to just being introduced, being this fun-loving pop kind of group, and then become more mature women on this album.
Yeah.
So more empowerment songs were on there as well.
Absolutely.
Labels were always a lot more intentional with like that coming of age process when it came to artists. Like they went from making the kid friendly, Bobby music, and all of a sudden they talking about their needs and their wants. And you're like, wait, what? In the video looking all sexy. You're like, wait, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the revisit. This was my first time listening to it in
too.
full, like you mentioned in our preparation call. And I had no idea that Drake literally ripped off the entire intro song.
That's crazy.
Like,
It's
I'm listening to it
amazing.
for the first time, but I know it already,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh my God.
That's crazy because like when I Get Lonely 2 came out, that was the conversation on like Facebook and everywhere where we were
I was
talking about music.
outside. I
like,
wasn't seeing no one talking. I was just listening to the music like, okay, sounds good. I was outside.
Yeah. So Fanmail was their third studio album released February 23rd, 1999 by LaFace and Arista Records. 17 records, 62 minutes. It was a tribute to their fans who sent them mail while they were on a hiatus. Their previous album had come out, Crazy Sexy Cool had come out in 1994. So fans had to wait about 5 years to hear from them. And Crazy Sexy Cool was a really big album. So,
Yes.
people were anticipating the follow-up. Prior to the release, there was some drama within the group. They filed for Channel 11 bankruptcy. The lawsuit later settled in 1996. There was also some friction with their producer, Dallas Austin. He was dating Chili at the time, and they had a song together.
Y'all funny.
named Tron. Austin apparently wanted $4.2 million in creative control of the album, causing a standoff. Left Eye also briefly went solo. She wrote 8 songs, which Austin said were inferior. This is per my research. And Left Eye, she wanted to go solo, which caused even more conflict with the group, but they eventually came back together. Some legendary producers are on this album. Of course, Dallas Austin, Babyface, Jermaine Dupri, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. Some cool aspects of the album that I liked was T-Boz had written some poetry to cope with the emotions of her sickle cell disease, and Babyface turned one of her poems into the song Dear Lie, and Dallas Austin turned another song into the song Unpretty. T-Boz was also inspired by Nirvana's loud and soft dynamic shifts in their records, which they kind of morphed into their own with the song I'm Good at Being Bad. And another really cool aspect of this album, which kind of leads into, you know, the music we hear today and technology today, they had this computer modulated voice called Vicky, which was initially going to replace Left Eye on the album, but then when she returned to the group, she approved of it, and so you'll hear some interludes or some quotes and phrases throughout the album that literally sounds like a robot. So this album was really like a precursor to everything that we're kind of seeing now in terms of direct artist-fan interactions and infusion of technology and internet and all that. So I thought that was just really cool to hear. And another thing that kind of blew my mind was the song Communicate. There's a lyric, there's over 1,000 ways to communicate in our world today, and it's a shame that we don't connect. So you're thinking about the social media era now and how we feel like human interaction is so limited. These are conversations they're having in 1999. Like T-Boz is talking about how she feels disconnected from people despite all the ways that you can connect. So you think about how they felt in 1999, and now you think about now, it's like, bro, you and I could be, I could have your phone location and still like not feel connected to you. Like it's just really insane how technology's advanced, but still people felt disconnected from each other. So just a lot of really, really cool stuff here. But let's go through the album. So you kind of got into the intro already, Fan Mail, which obviously people who may not have heard it, they've heard it through Drake. I love the harmonies on there.
Yes.
I love the vocals on there. There's some other cool production aspects. They said they were trying to make it like sound like space, the song. And if you hear that, like I'm reminded of like Xenon from Disney Channel. Like
it gives that for sure.
That type of stuff. And so when you get, you know, 2 vocalists, because Left Eye wasn't actually on this record, but you hear the harmonies, like, and you hear, you know, Drake had to like do his own different vocals, like
he gonna make sure you hear them later.
Yeah. But so hearing the original, it was just incredible. I thought it was a really, really good start to the album. How'd you both feel about the intro?
I enjoyed it. I was just gagged to know the whole thing upon first listen. Like, okay, cool. It's not a sample, it's a cover.
Right.
No, I mean...
No, I have no comment.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the first song is probably my favorite song on the album. And then, you know, like the Vicky stuff, like you were saying, it was 1999, some Y2K shit going on.
Yeah.
The Matrix was about to come out.
Yeah.
You know, it was that type of year and that type of just feeling I feel around entertainment and culture. We were very Y2K. You know, is the world gonna stop when it ends and this and that? And but yeah, the harmonies, the Vicky talking and then bringing the hook back in at the end with like it overlaid on top of each other. Oh my God, I love it. It's
even
just,
the visuals.
Yeah,
it was very futuristic.
It's very
the no
just
scrubs
like,
visuals. It was like, okay. And they say that Left Eye was ahead of her time. Like Little Kim did an interview saying that Left Eye bought her website for her.
Wow.
Like before, like just advised her to do it because she's like, this is gonna be the thing. So yeah, I enjoyed it. The production did kind of feel all over the place to me.
It does get crazy
for the whole album.
But yeah,
the whole album.
Yeah, the production feels all over the place.
It is very.
It's like, was it Kevin Briggs? Like his nickname is Shakespeare. He was the producer for No Scrubs. I wonder what the project would have sounded like if they locked in with him
like an executive
throughout
producer.
the entire project. Because I don't want to discredit like all the legendary producers that are on there, like Dallas and Terry Jam and Lewis and all of that. But it's just like they're not. The sound is just not cohesive.
It's too many different vibes.
That's the problem when you have too many producers on the album. You know, I'm not a fan of having multiple producers on projects because, like you just said, you know, there's no cohesion, there's no consistency in production styles. You I think less is more when it comes to production.
Right.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah, because in terms of the messaging of the album, I think that was pretty cohesive. Like you have records, like I call it fan service, not that they were giving the fans what they wanted to hear, but they were giving them like messages that would resonate with them. They're talking about their insecurities. They've got empowering songs for women like Silly Ho and obviously No Scrubs, like songs that women could be like, yeah, well, we don't need no man. But then there are songs like I Miss You So Much or like Unpretty, where it's like they're showing their vulnerable side. So I think they were able to really connect with the people conceptually. Musically, they talk about the inspirations. There's funk on here. There's obviously hip hop inspiration, R&B, the Nirvana stuff. So they were very much so a pop group, and pop can be, it can either be very focused or it can be very all encompassing, but trying to encompass all kind of makes you almost directionless. And so I think there's really good songs on here, but it's like, it's not
an album. Like, yeah.
It's just, it's just too many different vibes. Like, it's too many different vibes.
Like,
and
like with the lead single, like I was born in the right generation. Streaming and adding the single, because going out to buy this project with No Scrubs as the lead single and Unpretty as the lead single and listening to the rest, I probably would have been like, what is this?
No, seriously.
Yeah. So we move forward. We got the Vicky interpretation interlude on track 2, and then we get into Silly Ho. Whisper and Playa being the precursor to No Scrubs was hilarious. Like it's just, this is when using skits and using interludes is very, very effective. Like that was just like the sequencing, arrangement, all that. Those are aspects that make this feel like an album to me, where it's like you have those types of things that kind of tell a story that bring songs together. It's something that I don't think we see enough. It's just song, which can work, but I think when you do have that kind of narrative skit aspect to it, it works. So Whisper and Play made me laugh, and then going right into those opening notes on No Scrubs, I'm like, yep, this makes all the sense in the world.
No.
Yeah. What were some other, favorite songs here? Like, something that caught me, like, was I'm Good at Being Bad, which we talked about. T-Boz was inspired by Nirvana there. When I first heard it, it was kind of slower, more melodic. I was into it. Then they kind of turn it up, and they're rapping. There's a bop to it. I'm like, I wasn't ready for this, but it's something that grabs your attention. So it worked for me.
That's a good one. For me, Unpretty. I really like Unpretty.
Yeah.
I really do. Like today, I was like getting ready to it. Like I was like a little
Get ready with me.
I was getting ready to Unpretty. Like looking in the mirror, like you know what? I do feel good about myself today. Got a haircut, and and it's it's funny that you can still still relate with stuff and still hit you the same and like take you back to places and be like, yeah. I remember when this was that, and I like Unpretty a lot.
How about you, Rocky?
Yeah, I think Unpretty is probably it's probably one of the most popular songs on the entire album. Just because it really does resonate with so many people out there who go through life not really feeling good about themselves. And this kind of like defines a moment where you can stand in front of yourself and say, look, I am who I am, and I do look the way I want to look, and I don't have to worry about what other people believe of me. So I think that is pretty much even resonates today.
Yeah.
With today's social media and the way people are perceived online and through social media. So I think that song probably stands the test of time.
Yeah, I definitely reflected on today's era when listening to that song specifically. Like, they were just talking about buying hair if your hair don't grow. Now the girls are buying everything. And it's just like, wow. Like even the lyrical content, we're in this female rap boom right now. And just thinking about the foundation that TLC laid out, and just always like hip hop also being in a constant state of grief. We spoke about groups previously in the last episode. Their journey is like similar to the Migos journey.
Wow.
I remember watching that reality show when they tried to replace Left Eye, and they got that girl Oh So Crispy. I don't know if y'all watched it. I was like obsessed. But
I need to watch that. Holy shit.
like they had the song I Bet. I like learned the choreography and everything of the song. I actually need to look up Oh So Crispy on Instagram and see what she does. But yeah, the song, the album, I don't know if it aged well enough for me, in my opinion. I think there were too many producers. I do think that the No Scrubs formula worked really, really well with their sound, and that's something that they should have honed into throughout the entire project.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, you know, if you were to come back to this, like it's pretty top heavy. You got the No Scrubs, you got the Unpretties. For me, I know I love ballads. So songs like I Miss You So Much, even like Dear Lie, I think was a slower one. Like those really resonate with me. But as a whole, like I don't know when I listen to this again if I'm gonna play it straight through or just kind of pick and choose certain songs out. So
its highs are very highs and its lows is very, very low. And it's like, I really, the only time I ever come back and listen to it is just the first song, or like I like to listen to that, or I like to listen to Unpretty. And then like Scrubs is like, it's cool, but like that really was the commercial success, huge song that, you know, it doesn't resonate too much with me.
Were they playing No Pigeons in the Midwest? Or that was just a New York thing?
No Pigeons? No.
No.
That was,
you know that one?
It sounds familiar.
That was just a.
You know that one, Rocky? All right, because I'm just like, you was outside, so you would know that. You know what I mean? But
okay, my bad. So do you think, what was the album before with them three on the front?
Crazy Sexy Cool.
You think that one is better than?
I'd have to re-listen because I was like, I was born in 95.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And
Me too.
my mom never assimilated to American culture at all. Like, she's only listening to salsa in her home. So all the hip hop that I'm listening to is just the hip hop that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
And that one just went over me. I was like listening to Aaliyah.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But the singles, and like I said, I was born in the right generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to this one makes me want to go back to Crazy Sexy Cool.
Yeah.
Like you look, Creep is on there. Well, obviously we know that one. That's a classic. Red Light Special is another one. So yeah, I'm interested in hearing these and kind of doing that comparison to see,
me too.
whether it was progression or whether this one was, structured better. But
Rocky, which artist today would you compare to TLC? Like, who do you see their DNA in?
Wow, I don't think there is a group today that compares to TLC, to be quite honest. That's the thing that I think we need more of. We need to have more groups and get back to the core of what R&B and even if it is a blend of R&B and hip hop, I think there needs to be a resurgence of female R&B groups. And I think there's a lane for that right now because, I think hip hop has reached a point of kind of like plateauing. And I think there is room for, what I call a urban pop female hip hop group. You had Beyonce and her crew.
Destiny's Child. Yeah.
You had Total back then. You had TLC. You had SWV, Escape. You don't have them no more. So I think there's a way to bring that back, and so hopefully maybe there's some groups out there that are even being developed. That's the biggest problem in the music industry. We used to have black music departments, and we don't have black music departments anymore. So there is a lack of development around talent, and unfortunately, this is the result of that.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting about the group stuff too because all these K-pop groups, they are.
They're killing it.
And mimicking like our music.
Early 2000s.
So it's crazy. And then like the only girl group I could think of is those Flow girls from London, and they're just
they're kind of if you know type.
Like
thing.
And it's really and it's like it's kind of cool, but we don't really get groups like.
You know what else is a thing? They're not catering to preteens and kids.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
TLC had that coming of age era before they started making the grown music. So like we had the privilege of growing up with our favorite artists and still going to see them now. If God willing.
Yeah, kids, we had like shows to watch. Like I remember that Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and they would play music videos as the commercials between shows. So like
cameos.
So we were hip to the artists or had ways to get introduced to them, and their music was put in front of us. And I think now technology gives us so much autonomy. We can go find these things, but and also I agree. There's that lack of like appealing to the youth. Like there's artists that the youth like, but I don't think they're intentionally trying to, grow their youth audience. I think it just happens. It's a byproduct. So it's interesting. But yeah, the group thing has always fascinated me. Like I feel like for the last 10 years, the lane of groups making music has gotten smaller and smaller, and the ones that succeed, they succeed at a really high level. But I really don't know what it is. Like we'll see a duo every now and then, but we don't really see people being like, yo, let's come up together, let's grow together and build something. And I'm really fascinated by it.
For the sake of the argument though, artists that I would say have the TLC DNA, like not the sound, just the DNA, I guess would be like Pretty Ricky. The two rappers.
Yeah.
I mean, the two singers and a rapper.
Like that. Facts.
So just for the sake of the argument, that's the name.
I love
that's
the Blue Star album.
Love.
Oh my God.
I had no business listening to that.
Yes. That's a really good one. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Some other things about this album, if you all haven't listened to TLC Fanmail, they had 2 #1 records and, of course, No Scrubs and Unpretty. They had Dear Lie was another single, but it only peaked at number 51. This album debuted #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 318,000 copies its first week, and was on the top of the charts for 5 weeks. It is their second best-selling album behind Crazy Sexy Cool. 8 Grammy nominations. They won 2 of the Grammys, Best R&B Album and Best R&B Performance by a Group or Duo with Vocals for No Scrubs. And the album is currently 6 times platinum. So
okay, period.
Yeah,
wait, before we close though, because it'll be remiss of me not to ask, because I did give you a look when Dallas was mentioned. I know you weren't. I know you weren't working with them when this project came out, but did you see like them engage, like Dallas and the girls? Like, how was that?
No, I mean, when I was there, Dallas and the group weren't having those controversies.
It was all good in the hood.
It was all good in the hood.
Yeah, that's good though. That you witnessed a good time.
So yeah, that is our revisit of TLC's Fan Mail. If you have never listened to this album before, go press play and then jump in our comments and let us know how you feel about the album. Rocky, we want to thank you for coming through, for telling your story, for the work you're doing with the Hip Hop Museum, for the preservation, documentation, and celebration of the past, present, and future of hip hop. Is there anything that you want to promote while you're here?
Just follow us on social media. Go to our Instagram at THH Museum, or go to our website, which is thhm.org.
Amazing. And yeah, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished throughout your career. It's genuinely inspiring to me.
Yes.
As someone who doesn't like to be put into a box, it's cool to see that you can do the music thing, you can do the television thing, you can impact your community, you can really do it all, and you can come back to the thing that you love and build a legacy for yourself. So it's incredible. So salute to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. And listeners, make sure that you follow us at Stay Busy Pod, subscribe on Twitter. Subscribe. Yeah, follow us at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. I'm all over the place.
It's okay.
All that. Follow us everywhere.
Y'all know.
Comment, share,
Y'all know where it's at.
Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to your favorite audio streaming platform, subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/StayBusyPod. And for myself, for Will, for Miss 2Bs, and for our very special guest, the legendary Rocky Bucano, we want you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay busy.